Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Jordan Spurgeon. Thank you for joining us. Today, children ages 12 to 15 were able to get the COVID-19 vaccine here in Arizona. Arizona's 7 state-run vaccination sites have started offering the Pfizer COVID-19 shot to kids. Arizona has nearly 400,000 children in this age group. They represent nearly 5.6% of the state's population. The expanded availability applies only to the Pfizer vaccine. The Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are authorized for people 18 and older. Members of the Tohono O'odham Nation were able to get vaccinated this week. Soldiers and airmen from the Arizona National Guard gave vaccines, directed traffic, and provided medical screening for tribal members at a COVID-19 vaccination site in Y, Arizona on Wednesday. The Guard provided citizen soldiers fluent in Spanish to act as translators for the predominantly Spanish-speaking community. More than 850 Arizona National Guard members continue to support communities across the state at vaccination sites and food banks. After 6 women were affected with a rare blood clotting side effect from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, there's been new attention added to how often women experience side effects from COVID-19 vaccines. Cronkite News reporter Mitchell Zimmerman takes a deep dive into new data released by the CDC.
Reina Gonzalez, a Phoenix resident, said she experienced light symptoms after receiving the Pfizer vaccine.
The next day, I felt very tired. It was a horrible fatigue for 2 days, nothing more. But after the 3rd day, I was already as if nothing had happened.
The CDC recently released data that shows women are more likely to experience minor side effects from a COVID-19 vaccine than men. The study, which was conducted from December 2020 to January of this year, shows that around 80% of women experience minor side effects. The CDC identifies these symptoms as minor side effects, which include headache, fatigue, dizziness, chills, and nausea. Gonzalez wanted to get the vaccine to keep her and her coworkers safe. She doesn't regret getting it.
The truth is no, because it scared me, especially since I work with people, so I prefer to avoid the virus and not get it or spread it by not getting the vaccine.
Banner Health here in the Valley has seen some anecdotal evidence that some patients experience swollen lymph nodes in the neck and upper chest area after vaccination. The side effect is rare and not life-threatening.
The CDC is easing up on some mask restrictions. Now, those who are vaccinated can stop wearing masks inside most places. The new guidance was announced Thursday at the White House. It will still call for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like buses, planes, hospitals, prisons, and homeless shelters. The CDC will also no longer recommend that fully vaccinated people wear masks outdoors in crowds. The gas is flowing to the East Coast again. The Colonial Pipeline is finally running again after a cyber attack shut it down for nearly a week. The shutdown caused panic buying and severe gas shortages. The pipeline supplies nearly half the diesel and gasoline to the East Coast. Nervous motorists have hoarded so much gas, more than 70% of stations in North Carolina are completely out. Experts say panic buying and a shortage of truck drivers to deliver gas by road complicated matters to create the current situation. President Joe Biden spoke about the situation earlier today and warned people to be patient.
Will not feel the effects at the pump immediately. This is not like flicking on a light switch. This pipeline is 5,500 miles long. It had never been fully shut down its entire history, and so fully, and they have to safely and fully return to normal operations, and it's going to take some time.
Here in Arizona, we're seeing an increase in gas prices. Gas has gone up nearly 10 cents for a gallon of regular in the past week, according to AAA. And our prices are more than 10 cents higher than the rest of the nation. AAA told the Arizona Republic they predicted the increase as we get closer to Memorial Day. And now, a look back at our top stories concerning business here in Arizona. From the boom in electric car companies moving to our state to the need to hire more restaurant workers.
Meanwhile, restaurants have been trying their absolute best to get back to business as usual after Governor Doug Ducey lifted the mask mandate and opened businesses without restrictions. Reporter Julia Sandor got a look at how some places in the valley are handling this situation.
When the pandemic started, restaurants were hit hard. And after a year of takeout and delivery, they are opening their doors back up with no restrictions.
We've had some push and pull effect since lifting of the mask mandate and the restrictions last week. However, that all being said, I think we're going to experience that for a few weeks. And restaurants trying to accommodate guests to the best of their ability, those who want to wear a mask and those who don't. And it's going to be a little bumpy, but I think we'll find our way.
And even though restaurants seem to be getting back to normal, behind closed doors, they are facing another problem. According to the Arizona Restaurant Association, 89% of restaurant operators laid off or furloughed their employees due to COVID.
So we had about, I would almost say 80 to 100 staff. And I would say we probably had, once the pandemic fully hit, we probably had 20. If that, that's front and back of house. So that's cooks and everything too. So we had to lay a lot of people off.
But as places like Bobby Q are transitioning to more dining, they hope for a steady increase in employees and revenue.
Needs so far now, especially with business picking up and all the stuff, regulations going down, we have needed more and more people. And it's been tough to find people to work, to be honest with you. I've probably had 16 interviews scheduled in the last week or two, and probably about 5 people have showed up. So,
Julia Sandor, Cronkite News.
With vaccine eligibility expanding in Arizona, it raises a lot of questions for the general public, including what happened to the phased distribution. Cronkite News reporter Caitlin Keenahan looks at previous distribution efforts in Phase 1C.
Grocery store workers were not able to get vaccinated until mid-March, despite being frontline workers during the pandemic. Employees are rejoicing that their time has finally come.
So today we're distributing 300 vaccines, single-dose Johnson & Johnson, to our retail members at all of our stores within Maricopa County.
Hi, how are you?
Bash's employees drive up.
And you don't have any allergic reactions, right?
Fill out a few forms, and they're on their way.
Super, and guess what? Go get your vaccine.
Thank you, guys.
A moment many of them have been waiting for since the genesis of COVID-19.
It's a sigh of relief for a lot of folks. We have members coming that are just so thankful and so excited to sort of be taking this next step and hopeful that, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Gracias. Tonda Sykes works at Food City in Phoenix. She says she's waited months for the opportunity to get the shot.
I feel great about it. I've been waiting to get there, especially the Johnson & Johnson one. It's one shot. I don't have to go back. I don't have to schedule time off to get the shot. So I feel really good about it. I feel positive about it. That was easy. Just a regular shot like I was getting for any kind of vaccine or something. There it is.
During the Bash's drive-through vaccination event, Dr. Kara Christ announced that everyone in the state of Arizona above the age of 16 is now eligible for the vaccine. This comes just 1 week after grocery workers were cleared to receive their doses. In the studio, Caitlin Keenahan, Cronkite News.
Arizona is seeing a spike in electric vehicle companies setting up routes within the state. But why did the companies choose Arizona, and what does this mean for the state's technological economy? I took a deeper look at what's driving these companies here.
We looked at over 60 sites in 13 different states for where we wanted to manufacture. We looked around, we decided, Casa Grande had a lot to offer in the state of Arizona. Right, it's a good location for a supply chain. We can pull from all of North America here. It's pretty centralized. We're pretty close to headquarters.
Mike Boyke, Director of Manufacturing at Lucid Motors, an electric vehicle company, says Lucid Motors chose Arizona for a reason.
What having all of these technology and electric vehicle companies come to Arizona means is Arizona is poised for further growth and more jobs because of it. Technology companies really look for a technology and innovation ecosystem when they're looking to base their factories or their headquarters.
Patrick Patak, Senior Vice President of Executive Initiatives for the Arizona Commerce Authority, explains Arizona welcomes innovation and technology, and it continues to expand.
I think we now have more than 10,000 technology companies here. So not only are we growing these jobs and these wages, but there's benefits across the economy. As these higher wage jobs come in, they'll spend money in the service sector or the leisure sector, for example, and it brings benefits really to the entire state.
And Boyke shares his prediction for the job market at Lucid Motors alone.
Now, by the end of this year, we're going to be right around 1,500 jobs When we look towards the future, there's phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. We anticipate will be over 3,000 people jobs. So it really then starts to really bolster the economy.
Eric Anderson, Executive Director of Maricopa Association of Governments, says more individuals may be likely to purchase electric cars in the future.
The price point on electric vehicles is coming down very quickly. And so there are estimates that in the next 2 to 3 years, the price of a electric vehicle versus a gasoline powered vehicle is going to be about the same. And once that starts to happen, I think you're going to see a bigger shift to the electric vehicle market.
Lucid Motors is working on a new model called the Lucid Air, and they're in phase 2 of expanding the Casa Grande location.
After being under construction for 3 years, the $200 million streetcar project in Tempe is almost ready to roll. Cronkite News reporter Melissa Zaremba gives us the details on what makes these streetcars unique.
Valley Metro is set to launch the Tempe streetcar later this year. The streetcar is designed to make short stops throughout the East Valley.
There are a lot of people moving to Tempe, so the density is increasing, and with more density means more traffic, more people needing to travel around. So I think greater efficiency when traveling is a huge benefit that streetcar is going to bring.
The Tempe streetcar will run about 3 miles throughout the Tempe area and will have at least 14 shelter stops. The streetcar will run about every 15 minutes in between cars and holds at least 120 people. Before the streetcars can officially pick up the first set of passengers, all cars must pass specific operational tests.
They go through a series of different types of tests on the actual streetcar route. So they'll do different speed tests, stopping, turning, how they perform in different weather conditions.
The cars use hybrid batteries, and residents will have easy access to 2 of the light rail stations for any further distances. Business owners are eager for the streetcars to start running.
Tempe's really been exploding with residential, and I think it makes it more convenient for those folks to get around and enjoy their community.
All cars are manufactured in Pennsylvania and will continue to arrive in Arizona in the upcoming weeks.
The same people you love to listen to sing, watch dance, or see perform are some of the hardest hit economically during the pandemic. But as Faith Abercrombie tells us, a new bill at the Arizona legislature hopes to help keep the curtains open on the arts.
For some performers, singing alone in their apartment to their couch was their version of working from home. Although many of these artists aren't singing to an in-person audience quite yet, they prepare for performances and competitions as we see the end of quarantine. Many performing art spaces are quiet, but as the pandemic plays out, songs are no longer being sung to just furniture.
It's not the same. I'm singing to my living room couch.
House Bill 2755 would give $5 million to art institutions across Arizona. The support will help artists like Cheyenne Koss continue their career on a high note.
I had almost a year without working because contracts were canceled and things couldn't happen in the way they were supposed to happen.
They need something to uplift them. I know so many artists who have changed vocations just because of survival.
If it becomes law, the bill would give money to the Arizona Commission on the Arts to distribute statewide.
We realize that this is not merely a feel-good bill. This is really a bill about survival for a lot of these organizations.
The arts and culture sector will be an important part of restarting the economy, but maybe even more importantly, restarting our human connection to one another.
During a time of social distancing, the arts could help sound the right note and help people reconnect again.
People are really craving that interpersonal interaction with one another. And I think that music is a perfect way to kind of get that back.
The healing process through art might look different than before.
You understand?
Yes.
very hard because you can't see how I'm doing it with my mask on.
But I think
you got it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But Koss and other artists are ready for when doors open back up.
Coming in here and letting it all go and adopting like a persona, a character, something I can use to express things I don't get to express in my everyday life. I love it. There's nothing like it in the world.
Like other art organizations around the country and world, the Arizona Opera continues performing virtually or socially distanced. House Bill 2755 passed the House and it now moves to the Senate. In the studio, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Break It Down. That's next. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.